So what are the best fat loss habits that if you're brand new, right? You're a beginner. You're not somebody that is used to working out. You're not somebody that is, let's say, very active. Maybe you're just somebody that, came to a realization. Maybe you looked at yourself in the mirror and you're like, man, this isn't good. Or maybe you're somebody that has been struggling to just do the simple things of life, like walk up and down the stairs, doing your laundry, or, you got to suck in your stomach and hold your breath just to put on your socks and shoes in the morning before you, go out the door for work. Simple things like that, right? Where it's just like this realization where it's like, I got to make a change. Or maybe you can't fit in your old favorite clothes, right? Something happened in your life where you're like, I got to do something about this, right? It's not fun. It's not healthy, right? Maybe you're not leading by example, but nonetheless, you're somebody that, let's say, the last time you were ever really worked out before was, let's say, gym class back in, middle school or high school. You're not very active at all, and you haven't been for the past 5, 10, 15, 20 years, This episode is going to be more geared towards you because at the end of the day, I want you to understand this. Everybody makes the same mistakes. And here's the reality, right? You will lose weight instantly if you continue to do these same mistakes. But you will regain the weight just as fast as you're able to lose the weight. And guess what? That's going to slow down your metabolism. That's going to hurt you in the long run. And most importantly, it's going to make you feel very discouraged and give up and not do anything about your health because you're going to realize, hey, what's the point? I can't do this. It's not sustainable for me. It's very easy to lose the weight, but then I fall off the wagon. I regain all the weight right back. So hear me out, all right? And the analogy I'm going to give to you is probably the best thing, hands down, that's going to shift your mindset. So if you don't know anything about Heartletics, basically we're the best coaching program in the world to lose body fat. I'll put my ego up on a pedestal and I'll say that till the day I die because nobody knows how to mix, right? Creating sustainable habits, community, mindset, and that personalized education for somebody. And before we go into the tips on what you should do, that's going to honestly help you for many years to come, have more energy, have more confidence, lose weight, and most importantly, it's sustainable. Let me explain a little analogy, right? So let's just say that everything that's out there, all these diets and programs, let's put them in this bubble, right? And let's just say there's the ketos, the paleos, the carnivores, the Nooms, the Weight Watchers, the South Beach Diet, the Atkins, the P90X, the V-Shreds, the Insanity, the Beachbody, everything, right? We'll put them all in this bubble. And hear me out. I'm not dogging them at all. And if you've tried them, if you had success and you're able to maintain that success, then kudos to you. But the reality is this, over the last 7 years and coached thousands of people, majority of people have tried this and regained all the weight right back, right? So if let's say you're fresh and you're like, oh, Joe, why are you dogging keto? I just started it. I started to lose some weight. Guess what? Like, congratulations, right? But talk to me in a year when maybe you regain the weight right back, and I'll share with you exactly how you're going to regain the weight right back. I want this to be a very educational video where you learn a thing or two, right? Because this is going to save you time. This is going to save you a lot of realization as far as like, man, expectations go, where I'm just, hear me out. I've seen this for years, right? It's going to save you a boatload of time. And I always say it like this, time is precious. They print money every single day, right? You cannot regain that time back, so I'm saving you here, okay? So let's just put them all in this bubble, right? Of all the fad diets, programs, everything like that. And once again, there's nothing wrong with them. But the reality is this, is that you might be right here, way far left. And let's just say this is your lifestyle, right? So this is your occupation. This is your foods that you like to eat. This is your habits with your family, dinner time with the family. This is your body type. This is your schedule for training, everything like that, right? And it's a complete difference from right side to left side. The problem is that you have to take your lifestyle and everything that you're currently used to and whatnot, and you have to fit into these diets and these programs that I just kind of mentioned. And typically it's like this. In the very beginning, it's this huge shift, and you have this shiny object syndrome, right? Where, oh man, this is the best thing in the world, right? You're kind of, you're laser focused on this, and you're like, I'm going to cut out my carbs, right? Let's say you do keto or Atkins, right? Cut out your carbs. You're not buying any carbohydrates, anything like that, right? And you feel great because guess what? You're motivated. you're inspired. Like, I'm going to do something about it. This is going to be the time for me. And right, we always hear this, especially around the New Year's, the New Year's resolution. And so what happens is in the very first few weeks, it's an instant change, because guess what? You're changing up your diet. You're changing up your routine, right? And you feel motivated, you feel inspired, and it's very easy to do it in the very beginning, right? Because it's different. But we always like to say it like this, like, anybody can do anything when life is easy, but that's not life. Life's going to throw you curveballs. Life's going to throw you adversity, some stress, whatever the case may be. And that's typically where most people fall off the wagon. They throw in the white towel, they quit, and they go back to their old ways, And that weight loss that you typically see, remember, there's a huge difference between weight loss and fat loss. At Heartletics, we focus on fat loss. Let me explain the difference, right? Let's just say you're doing detoxes or crash diets, anything like that, right? It's very low calories. So if, let's say, you're 250 pounds and you're eating like 1,200 calories, guess what? You're going to lose weight, but you're going to lose muscle, right? That's why you should not be focused on the number on the scale, because there's a big difference between weight loss and fat loss. If you're eating next to nothing, you're not fueling your body properly with enough calories or macronutrients, guess what? You're going to be losing your muscle. So yes, the number on the scale is going to go down, but you're going to be putting on more added body fats, and you're going to have worse health, right, than when you first got started. So that's why we like to educate people. Don't focus on just the number on the scale. Now, let's say you're doing Atkins or keto, right? Once again, nothing wrong with them at all if you like to lose water weight, but that's the reality, is that carbs store body in the water. Don't believe me? Guess what? If you dropped your phone into a pool, right, and if you went to Google or went to YouTube and said, oh, my phone's all wet, right? It's not working properly. What should I do? Ask anybody and their mother. They're going to say, hey, take that phone and put it into a bowl of rice. Why? Well, that rice is going to extract the water right out of the phone. Take a bowl of oatmeal, right? Just dry oats, and put some water right on top of those dry oats, and walk away and come back. Pretty much anything, I bet you, right? After maybe a few hours, right? Those oats are going to be completely dry, right? Because it absorbed all the water. So carbs store water within the body, right? It fuels the glycogen within your muscles. And so when you're not eating carbohydrates or you cut them out, yes, you're losing weight. You see the number on the scale go down, but remember, that's just water weight. Just like if you cut out all your calories, you're losing muscle mass. If you cut out all your carbohydrates, you're losing water weight. Big difference. Just because you see the number on the scale go down does not equate to fat loss. Two separate things, right? So a great analogy that I want you to think about before I go into some tips on what you should do that's sustainable is, think about it like this. So my son, we love to go into the arcade, and he likes to play on those little racing simulator games like Mario Kart, right? And he thinks he's like a NASCAR driver playing Mario Kart. It's the funniest thing, even though he's shooting like the little shells and collecting little stars for the power-ups, he thinks he actually knows how to drive a car. So it's fun in the beginning, but think about it, if we walk outside, if I toss him the keys to my car, he's not even going to know how to turn on the car. I mean, he's 4 years old, so he doesn't know how to drive a car. He doesn't know, hey, red means, stop at a light and the stop sign, and how to use a blinker and how to merge onto traffic and everything. He doesn't know that. It's not applicable to the real world just because he's playing a Super Mario Kart racing simulator game. So some of these diets that's out there that I just kind of mentioned in programs, it's the same thing. It's fun in the beginning, right? You feel like you're driving a car, but it's not applicable to the real world. Meaning it's not applicable to your specific lifestyle. It's not applicable to your, family life, your occupation, your schedule, everything like that. So where Heartletics is different is we're literally like let's just say a driving instructor. Where, in the very beginning, if you going to driver's ed class and, applying to get your license, you have a driver's ed instructor right there in your vehicle. They're teaching you how to drive that car. They're going over everything with you. And obviously, you got to make sure that you pass your test before you get your license. That's kind of like what Heartletics is we're teaching you real world skills on, one, how to eat properly for your body type. And that does not mean just, hey, eating a diet or a meal plan. No, it means giving you the knowledge. So that way you have proper education on, hey, when I'm traveling or when I want to make adjustments or going out to eat, all this stuff that works best for your lifestyle. Same thing with training, how to train your body, because you have the knowledge of, knowing when and how to train the body properly, whether you work out at home whether you work out at the gym, days of the week that best suit your schedule, everything like that, right? It's gaining that education, it's gaining that knowledge. And we always say knowledge is power. You know, I'm sure you heard the phrase, most people have, you can give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or you can teach a man how to fish and feed him for the rest of his life. That's kind of like what our coaching program is. So remember in the beginning, I said that all these fad diets and programs and kind of cookie cutter stuff, like it's over here in this bubble, and your lifestyle might be over here on the left side that's over here in this bubble, and you have to make sure that your lifestyle best suits that diet or that program. Well, think about it like this. Heartletics, we're that bubble that's coming to you, right? We're that bubble that's trying to make you, right? Like really help you create these sustainable habits and fit into your lifestyle. That's where Heartletics is different. Once again, you mix that with the, you know, the personal touch, the community, you know, the guidance, the education, the mindset. It's a shoo-in for success. And I'm going to share with you right now, especially if you're a beginner in all this, right? And you're struggling to lose some body fat and you haven't, let's say, you know, worked out in many, many years. Here's exactly what you should do, right? Here's my 3 tips for success, especially if you're a beginner. 1, your body's made to move, right? If you find that you're very sedentary, you sit down at work, you sit down at home, guess what? Odds are you probably have a bad back also because, you know, your spine is being compressed, you know, from just being so sedentary. You probably have some knots in your glutes that's pulling on your back muscles. Your body's made to move. One of the best things that you can do is focus on what's called NEAT, which stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And this is one of our 7 essential fat loss habits that we like to go over at Heartletics. And this will help you not just lose more body fat, but most importantly, keep it off because it's sustainable. You know, think about it. Give yourself a step goal, right? Go on Amazon, buy, let's say, a knockoff Fitbit or something like that. Any kind of fitness tracker that just counts your steps. You know, it's not that hard. And give yourself a step goal that's sustainable. Let's say starting off in the beginning, maybe 5,000 steps. Do that for a few weeks and then upgrade to 6,000 steps a day. Do that for a few weeks, upgrade to 7. All the way to where our members, we like to aim for around 10,000 steps a day. Very easy, very sustainable. And once again, when you go through that slow process of increasing it, it makes it a lot more easier to actually achieve that goal rather than somebody that doesn't move at all starts from, you know, 10,000 steps right from the get-go. That's not really sustainable. It's just like in the New Year's, right, for the resolutions that everybody has, everybody immediately cuts out their carbs, cuts out the sugar, cuts out their alcohol, cuts out their favorite foods, and oh yeah, they go to the gym 7 days a week. Guess what? You're starting off at 210%, and immediately after a few short weeks, you're flat on your face, back down to 0. Because what you're doing is not sustainable. It's not applicable to the real world in terms of you getting the results you're looking for that best suits your lifestyle. So that's the first tip, is just move more. The second is eat more protein. Right? I'm not going to share anything about calories. I'm not going to share anything about different macronutrients like carbs and fats. I just want to say eat more protein. You know, take your body weight, multiply it by 0.8. That is going to give you the bare minimum of protein that you should be eating each and every day. Right? Like that's it. Focus on eating more protein. Aim for that. At Heartletics, we like to aim for around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. You have so many different options out there. You have protein powders, right? They have, you know, isolate ones if you're somebody that's, let's just say, lactose intolerant like myself. They have regular whey protein. They have plant-based also. There's different protein bars, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. There's fish. There's lean meats, steaks, chickens, ground beef. Literally so many different options that are high in protein that you could probably be consuming more of. And don't even worry about your calories. Trust me. Just focus on tracking your protein and trying to hit that many grams that I just mentioned. Bare minimum, right? Especially if you're just starting. Take your body weight, multiply by 0.8. Focus on that. And then I would say the last one has nothing to do in terms of nutrition and it has nothing to do in terms of training, but it has everything to do in terms of your mindset. And this is where Heartletics really thrives at and why we're different. You see, in the beginning, I gave you a nutrition habit, a training habit, just walking more. And then I gave you a nutrition habit, eating more protein. Well, you got to mix the mindset, right? And I would say for the mindset, focus on your goals. Right? Honestly, like write them down. What are your goals? And have that somewhere, whether it's on your whiteboard, whether it's, you know, your wallpaper on your phone, whatever the case may be, where it's a simple daily reminder that, hey, I'm doing this for a particular reason. right? I'm trying to look this way or feel this way or have more energy or whatever the case may be. Have your goals somewhere where you can constantly see it. Because if you have your goals somewhere and you're constantly seeing it, you're going to be more disciplined to focus on getting more steps in. You're going to be more disciplined to eating more protein. As opposed to, there's nothing where you're trying to get to in terms of your goals, your habits, anything like that. It's a lot easier to fall off the wagon when you're not being reminded of, who you're trying to become or what you're trying to achieve, And that's just the simplest habit that I can give for you in terms of your mindset. Because once again, I want this to be easy. I understand from your shoes, you probably haven't worked out in several years. You probably very lost and confused. It's called overanalysis paralysis, when there's all these different things out there to do and try, and you're like, man, which one would I do? My recommendation is do exactly what I just shared with you, right? Get more steps in and do so in a way where it's easy, it's sustainable for you. Eat more protein and focus on, hey, where is an image that we can put our goals that we are being reminded each and every day? That way it's going to be that motivation, that inspiration, most importantly, building up on the discipline to help us be consistent with our steps and be consistent with hitting our protein goal. That's it. We have 7 essential fat loss habits. If you want more tips, if you want more tricks, go to heartletics.com, download our free guide. You'll have access to a PDF and a video tutorial that goes over a step-by-step plan on how to lose body fat, but most importantly, all these 7 essential fat loss habits that's going to help you create sustainable habits, and that's exactly how we help out our members. So hopefully you guys got some value from today's, episode, and if you did, definitely let me know, and I'll be sure to talk to you guys next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts.